Good morning from Poland, everyone. All right, gang. So this is just a little bit of feedback for your bow tie methods. I think you all understand the concept. I was looking at your presentations, and they were quite well done, very well done, actually. So I give that little presentation last week because it's worth 4%. Okay, and if you totally screw it up and you get 50, or you bang it out of the park and you get 100, the difference is only 2%. And that's why I do it at this stage, to give you that allowance to make mistakes here, so that when you're doing your final project, you totally understand the concept and you can really hone it down and make it a fabulous presentation that you're in and get your maximum marks. Okay, so with that, I'm kind of showing you here now some tips and tricks on how to improve. Okay, so I wasn't grading on your sexiness of your presentation. This one here is quite well laid out and stuff like that. Someone put it in hand-drawn, perfectly fine. And so what I'm looking for specifically, though, is, sure, your hazards are on the left and your consequences on your right. So for your consequences, I'm looking for the worst case scenario that happens. Okay, so how this works is the loss of primary containment starts off as a drip. That is your loss of primary containment. And here it can be caught in a drip tray, and next stage, next stage, next stage, next stage, until it turns into a huge environmental spill. Okay, so a lot of you, I won't say a lot of you, that's not to say, of a fair amount of you, instead of having the lines here drawn of how that all works, and I have another slide to show you a better example of that, basically all you've done is took your mitigation hazards and kind of thrown them in as a pile, as in, these are all the mitigation hazards for that. Okay, and if you did that, sure, I gave you points for identifying them, but then I took points away for they weren't, well, I guess maybe strategic or logical in your thinking. It was just a pile of mitigation. Okay, same over here, a pile of barriers put in. So if you give me 2 seconds, so this gentleman here, this is what I'm kind of looking for. No, kind of. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so same things. You had your hazards on the left, your consequences on the right, your barriers in between. So I am looking for, so let's say your loss of primary containment as an example. Okay, and the first part of loss of primary containment is the leak. That's it. It's just the drop. That's where it is. And if you're doing your rounds, that's your first mitigation. You're doing your rounds and you catch it at this stage, you can tighten it up. Poof, the leak is stopped. Okay, if you're not doing your rounds, maybe the drip tray will catch it. Okay, that drip tray is there, it might be a bucket, whatever it is, and if that overflows, okay, then you have your procedures, as in, the leak is getting worse, shut down. Stop your work. Okay, but maybe you haven't done your rounds, your drip tray is overflowing, you didn't catch it, and now someone sees it and it's starting to overflow onto the deck. Your oil spill response kicks into gear and you shut everything down and clean it up. But if that doesn't happen, you might have to call port, and eventually it turns into an oil spill. Okay, so I'm looking for a logical progression of how it gets worse and worse and worse. And also, if you notice how this gentleman did this well for his barriers, okay, so I'll use here leaks from pumps and hoses and tanks and accidental disconnection. So one of his barriers were proper connections, and that affects this one and that one. Okay, and then it progresses down. As I hear, experience and training is a barrier for all four. Okay, so I'm looking for a logical sequence of how it comes from here, and you hone it down so absolutely nothing happens. God forbid it does, and turns into a leak. That leak gets worse and worse and worse, and it can turn into a fire, it can turn into an oil spill, rupture a tank, or whatever it is. Okay, so we're looking for a logical sequence. All right. Hope that explains it. And like I said, from a concept point of view, I think you're all on point. It's just now it's displaying it well, laying it out in a logical and a good explanation. Okay, fair enough. Part of this course is I'm trying to teach you how to give a presentation really in safety. Okay, if I give you an hour to give a presentation, or if I give you 10 minutes, you can still get the same things done. Now there's a trend in industry to not waste time in meetings and have short, brief meetings like this. Hence why I try to teach you to deliver this in 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. Also, I deliver it here now, so you have a small presentation here now. So if you totally screw it up, you only lose 1 or 2 marks. But then hopefully you'll learn as you're progressing, and at the final presentation, you can really knock it out of the park. And when you're working on a 40% paper by yourself, not in groups, okay, I know everyone hates working in groups, and you can really show how you really shine when you're doing your presentation. Okay, and that's really it. If you notice, we wanted this was week 10 now. Oh man, term is flying by. If you notice even now how your presentations are getting so much better and displaying your information concise. You're not rambling on. You're hitting it, and then you're moving on. Okay, and that's what I'm trying to teach you as well in these presentations, and give you enough ammunition. So if you get a heckler in the back of the room, you'll be able to explain stuff like this, as in why that's important, why your barriers are there, and basically shut those people down when they're giving you shit in the back of the room. Okay, all right, guys and ladies. I know this week was totally crazy. We had people up in Baffin Bay. I got a guy out in Fiji, someone in the North Sea. I was in Bay of Biscay, and poor internet. And with that, I think everyone got delayed a little bit. So I do believe critiques from teams number 1 and 4 are due, and you can submit those, guys. I won't critique or won't knock off any points. You've all emailed me and let me know that your schedules are crazy this week, and I've already let you all know that you can be delayed. That's not a problem at all. Submit them when you get a chance, and I'll correct them and put them in. I've already corrected all the assignments and put your grades in. Yeah, great marks all around for everyone, I think. And I hope you're enjoying it. I'm going to make another little video now for this week's discussions. Thanks a million, guys. Cheers.